Put a beat, man. Don't sweat the mic too close, G.
1, 2, 1, 2. This is how we do it from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, that sounds kind of funky.
Ow!
All right, break it down, then I start.
When you hear the name Jay-Z, you can't help but think of greatness. From humble beginnings growing up in the Brooklyn projects to becoming the world's first hip-hop billionaire, Jay-Z never let his past or surroundings deter him from reaching his ultimate goal. Motivated to give himself the life he always wanted, he turned his pain into passion and used the suffering he experienced growing up to influence the words and lyrics in his music. And when these lyrics struck a chord with the public, the roller coaster ride of his life had never slowed down. For over 30 years, Jay-Z has become synonymous with the world of hip-hop, and the genre wouldn't be the same without him. He changed the game and inspired millions to follow in his footsteps to greatness. The road to success wasn't easy, but even with a few bumps along the way, the boy from Brooklyn came out on top. New York City, the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. Whatever you know it as, it's one of the world's most important cities. And as the birthplace of hip-hop in America, it's sacred ground for many. From the block parties of the South Bronx to the stages of Madison Square Garden, hip-hop has always been a reflection of the energy and grit associated with living in New York. Emerging in the 1970s, hip-hop was a byproduct of the economic and societal issues that many experienced growing up in America.
Well, I'm 1, I'm 2. Are you ready to go? Cause the human beatbox gonna take the show. To the beat, y'all. You don't stop. Yes, indeed. I'm the MC they call me Rocky G. Guaranteed to rock the mic for you young ladies. I said we go like this and we go like that. Homeboys and girls, we can never beat it. Rap go,
At street parties and community gatherings, rapping was the creative outlet for the disenfranchised, particularly young Black, Latin, and Caribbean Americans who wanted to tell their own stories in their own way. By the end of the 1970s, the release of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight, which reached the top 40 in the U.S. Billboard charts, propelled hip-hop out of the local communities and into the spotlight. As the genre moved from block parties to clubs, a whole new audience began to experience and enjoy the music that was once purely associated with the disenfranchised. And by the end of the 1980s, the once niche world of hip-hop was part of the mainstream culture.
It's the undisputed greatest DJ alive, DJ Van DJ, right? Now I want to let my dancers do a little something individually first. Oh, just do a little something, oh.
Many see the period from 1986 to 1993 as the golden age of hip-hop in America. The emergence of artists like Tupac Shakur, the Notorious B.I.G., and Nas were just a handful of popular artists emerging during this time. Characterized by its diversity, quality, and innovation, it was a time when every new record and every emerging artist seemed to reinvent the genre through the ever-growing technique of sampling.
We're going to get funky with it in a place to be a little something like this, right? Hey, Jeff, are you ready? You ready? Now you gotta test it up, man, because we gotta get ready to rip it. You ready? You got it? You test it up? 1, 2, 1, 2. DJ Jazzy Jeff and yours truly, the Fresh Prince, are making an addition to all the events.
It allowed hip-hop music to defy generations, as songs from the past became beats of the present.
Different style music, never will another group be able to do this the way do we think. The present with the past, I hip-hop, but with the touch of the past. And let me get everybody waiting here back and forth a little something like this. Let me hear you say yeah!
For anyone growing up in the projects during the 1980s and 1990s, the influence of hip-hop cannot be understated. It gave the people who had no voice a real voice, and over the course of the 1980s and 1990s, these voices were beginning to be heard more and more. For Sean Corey Carter, the boy who would become Jay-Z, being exposed to the early eras of hip-hop became an education that would change his life forever. Born in Brooklyn in 1969, Carter was raised in the Marcy Projects alongside his 3 siblings by a single mother, after his father, Adnis Reeves, abandoned the family. Carter has referred to the 27 6-story buildings that make up the projects as huge islands built mostly in the middle of nowhere, designed to warehouse lives that keep the struggles of the urban poor invisible to the larger country. Carter remembers having to dodge glass shards that lined the grassy patches that passed for a park while playing touch football, and unresponsive heroin addicts collapsed on benches. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, the Marcy Projects and the surrounding neighborhood would also become synonymous with hip-hop as the home of several talented musicians, including Lil' Kim, Mos Def, Aaliyah, and the Notorious B.I.G. Unfortunately, hip-hop was not the only product of the 1980s, altering the surroundings of the Marcy houses and the neighboring area. When the crack epidemic hit the projects he lived in, Carter remembers, what had been was gone, and in its place was a new way of life that was suddenly everywhere and seemed like it had been there forever. Determined to make something of his life and escape the drugs, violence, and poverty that surrounded him growing up, Carter turned to music, something he had been passionate about throughout his teenage years. Influenced by his peers and the local hip-hop scene, Carter would write raps and poems in his notebook, a form of therapy to tell his story and help him understand himself. He remembers how for days he filled page after page of a notebook. Then he would bang out a beat on the table, his bedroom window, whatever had a flat surface. He would practice from the time he woke up until the time he went to sleep. As the 80s progressed, Carter became even more involved in the hip-hop scene that was rapidly transforming youth culture. Subwoofers and speakers 7 feet tall filled the landscape of the courtyards at the Marcy houses, the epic battles shaking the projects to their core.
Ready? Over. 726, I'm back at y'all. Peace and love. Going in here, chill, man. What's happening in here?
Another resident of Marcy houses was Jonathan Burks, Jaz-O. In Carter's early days, he acted as his mentor and pushed him to explore his musical talents. Jay-Z's name actually comes from his mentor, the similar structure acting as a salute to him. In addition, it's a reference to both his childhood nickname of Jazzy and the Jay-Z subway station near his Brooklyn home. In 1989, he joined his mentor to record a song called The Originators, which won the pair an appearance on an episode of Yo MTV Raps.
Y'all know me, I wish you could write cause you paid me all the rhymes you stole from me. Need to freeze in a minute, you gotta get in and breathe and only when it lets no sweat. I started a step with these sins. Stop thinking you're making it, son. I'm breaking your tongue. Don't get caught perpetrating the cool ones. Bigger, better.
Jaz scored a record deal before Carter and invited his protege to London with him to record some new music. Jazz's album tanked after a poor decision was made for his first single. He went from being courted at the highest level to not having the people at EMI return his calls. The executives who had withdrawn their support from Jazz were then trying to contact Carter for a solo project. Given the way his mentor had been treated, Carter temporarily gave up his dreams of a rap recording contract. But his first real big break was soon to come. From the 1990s to 1995, Jay-Z returned to street hustling while still attempting to forge a music career. He would appear on other artists' songs with the odd verses and collaborations here and there, but never enough clout for his own project. After being turned down by several labels in the industry, Jay-Z, Damon Dame Dash, and Kareem Biggs Burke started their own record label. They pooled their resources to form Rockefeller Records. Initially, the label acted as an independent outlet for Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt, in 1996. Reasonable Doubt was the first sign that Jay-Z had something to offer within the hip-hop community. He had the beats, the lyrics, and the connections to make it happen. But with so many artists vying for the role of king of rap in the 1990s, and the turf wars between the east side and west side of American hip-hop reaching a fever pitch, it was one of the most difficult periods to try and reach the top.
Biggie Smalls, doing his thing in the rap world. That's right, baby. What's up, man? From dance tracks to video music box, I'm back with you, man. What's up?
I mean, I'm just chilling, man. You know, trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, well, man, you got a lot going on. Are there any movie deals, anything?
In jail when she was pregnant with me. Yeah.
So you were right in the middle of the storm.
I'm still in the storm. I'm still in the storm. As a matter of fact, my mother was in a book. There's a book about my mother called Look For Me in the Whirlwind. I like to think that's my motto. Look for me in the whirlwind. Even now, this is all a whirlwind for me.
The mysterious deaths of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls in 1996 and 1997 sent shockwaves through the world of hip-hop. It was the crescendo of increasing tensions between the East and West Coast, which had been going toe-to-toe for the past decade. Within 6 months of each other, both artists, who were arguably the most influential of the decade, had been killed by unknown assailants in drive-by shootings. For Jay-Z, the death of Biggie especially had a more human impact.
Yeah, I see you. I'm saying you're doing a good job, man. Yo, it's Biggie Smalls. That's right. It's the mad celebrity birthday bash with PJ Ralph McDaniels.
From attending the same school and growing up in the same neighborhood, the two almost lived the same life. And having spoken to Biggie the day he died, this was personal for Jay-Z.
As I spoke to him, like I just spoke to him, I was like, nah. You know, like I immediately dismissed it, like, you know, you bugging. It was like, you know, son, it happened, I'm telling you.
Biggie paved the way for rap music, and his legacy can still be heard in the modern music landscape. Jay didn't just lose a friend, but lost his musical inspiration. The empty space at the top of hip-hop by the deaths of the two biggest names within the genre was bound to be filled. And with his own record label and an impressive debut release, Jay-Z was in the perfect position to fill those shoes. The release of In My Lifetime in 1997 was a revelation for Jay-Z. The emotional state he was in due to the death of his friend made this album more personal than ever. with references to his difficult upbringing rife throughout the record. Where I'm From paints a grim picture of his life in the Marcy Projects, giving listeners an insight into what it was like to grow up in Brooklyn. But with references to Biggie throughout the album and title tracks like The City Is Mine, it was obvious Jay-Z was not just reliving the past, he was embracing the legacy of his lost friend whilst looking to fill the power vacuum that had been left behind. It wouldn't be until the release of Jay-Z's third record, Hard Knock Life, in 1998, that it looked more likely that the place at the top of rap was fully reserved for Jay-Z. And after its release, Jay-Z's life was going to change forever. The title track, which famously sampled its chorus from the Broadway musical Annie, became Jay-Z's most popular single to date, and the album would eventually become Jay-Z's most commercially successful album.
The Life and Times of Sean Carter, Volume 2.
Seemingly a strange inspiration for a rapper, but there was a connection. I wasn't worried about the clash between the hard lyrics and the image of Redhead Annie. Instead, I found the mirror between the two stories, that Annie's story was mine and mine was hers, and the song was the place where our experiences weren't contradictions, just different dimensions of the same reality. Lyrics like, "Instead of kisses, we get kicked," resonated with his experiences growing up in the projects, and although they were not orphans, a whole generation raised themselves on the streets. He scored a Grammy win for the record, marking the beginning of a fruitful period in which Jay-Z would become one of the biggest names in hip-hop.
It's like a cherry on top. You know, you make music and people accept your music all around the world. You sell records or whatever, but then you're nominated for awards, so it's like a cherry on top. It's great.
By the end of the millennium, Jay-Z was firmly at the top of the world of hip-hop, and thanks to his collaboration with Mariah Carey on her song Heartbreaker, he was, for the first time, at the top of the charts too.
She wanna shop with Jay, play box with Jay. She wanna pillow fight in the middle of the night. She wanna drive my Benz with 5 of her friends. She wanna creep past the block, spying again. She wanna roll with Jay, chase skios away. She wanna fight with lame chicks, blow my day.
In the same year, Jay-Z released Life and Times of S. Carter, his fourth solo album, but the release was marred by a feud he had with another music producer he believed had leaked the record. Jay was livid that his work was circulating a month before its release, and in his autobiography he says how he ran into the guy everyone's been telling me is behind the bootleg. So I approached him. When I told him what I suspected, to my surprise, he got real loud with me right there in the middle of the club. Before I even realized what I was doing, I headed back over to him, but this time I was blacking out with anger. The next thing I knew, all hell had broken loose in the club. That night, the guy went straight to the police, and I was charged with assault. His arrest and acceptance of the punishment was a wake-up call. With everything he had ever wanted within his grasp being nearly taken away, he headed back to the studio to record The Blueprint. The record is often cited as not only Jay-Z's best album, but one of the best albums of all time, and was the start of his collaboration with one of hip-hop's most exciting emerging talents. Whilst Jay-Z had been working his way to the top of hip-hop in America in the late 1990s, a beatmaker named Kanye West had been slowly but surely working his way up through the hip-hop scene in Chicago. A college dropout, West turned down the opportunity for formal education at the age of 20 to pursue a career in music. His decision soon paid off at the turn of the new millennium when, in 2000, West took the train from Chicago to New York and began producing for artists at Rockefeller. Soon enough, he was working with Jay-Z on his upcoming album, The Blueprint, hoping to pave a way back after the end of his criminal trial. When the two worlds collided, it was obvious to them and the people around them that the duo were a match made in hip-hop heaven. The duo returned to the studio soon after to start work on The Blueprint 2, which was released at the end of 2002. The release was also the first professional collaboration between Jay-Z and Beyonce Knowles, one-third of Destiny's Child, who had begun embarking on her own solo projects. And with that song, titled Bonnie and Clyde, came rumors that Beyonce and Jay-Z were an item, but it would be several years before it was ever official.
Like it's supposed to be the old three, Bonnie and Clyde, Hov and B, holla, all I need in this life is sing. It's me and my girlfriend, me and my girlfriend.
The reason why the relationship between Jay-Z and Beyonce was kept a secret is business. You get it in record companies with artists. The minute an artist falls in love, they're frightened that the sales will be affected by it. So they're always like, yeah, don't tell anyone you're having a relationship. So keep it down. Because they want you to be accessible to everyone. They want everyone drooling over you. You know, they want to have the posters on the wall. And if you know that the person who's a poster on your wall is married or, you know, conceiving with child or something, it's not quite the same, is it?
Not long after their first collaboration, Jay-Z returned the favor to Beyonce by appearing in her debut smash hit, Crazy in Love. The single went on to gain global status and rose to the top of the US and UK music charts, earning them both a Grammy Award, and in 2018 was ranked the greatest song of the 21st century. The song's lyrics fueled the already roaring fire of their secret relationship, and the music video, which is still iconic today, gave fans a closer glimpse at the couple's affection for each other.
Well, you know what it was? I first heard it on the radio. I remember hearing it on the radio and going, it's just like, I can't, this is just so, you know, like a James Brown song. When you hear a James Brown song and you just, it's so good, you can't, your face is contorted and the beat is so good, you can't keep still. It's like, oh man, I'm trying to do the dishes and it was all going off, you know. And then when I saw the video, that was it. The video is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was the way that she walked on the road there. It was a dirty road with a broken down car, but the way she did that walk, I mean, and I always thought that Naomi Campbell was the queen of the catwalk, because she's amazing when she does that catwalk. Naomi's famous for it, but Beyonce tore it up. I mean, she walked along that little dusty road with the little jeans on and the cap, and you were like, and then she went, and you were like, ah, yeah, seal the deal. She was amazing. And then you just saw this big guy, Jay-Z, come in and do his thing, and it was like, everyone was talking about it because no one was quite sure if they were sort of together at that time, and it was just, you know, it was, are they, you know, is it real? Are they really together? Is it business or what? It was kind of the early stages. But the chemistry that you saw between Beyonce and Jay-Z in that video was electrifying. And they didn't even actually do anything in terms of kissing or anything like that. But it was just the intensity. It was powerful, you know. And she was like close to him. And, you know, she has that thing when she breathes and she kind of goes, and it's like, oh my God, it was all going off. It was great. So, no, it was a fantastic landmark for her. I think coming out of this sort of girl thing, and what an amazing debut as a solo artist. I mean, you can't get higher than that. She just completely destroyed it.
Not much is known about the first meeting between Jay-Z and Beyonce, although many have their own theories. They continued to keep a low profile until their big public debut in 2004, when they both stepped out on the VMA red carpet. It was a welcome relief for the celebrity rumor mill, who could finally rest knowing they were right all along. As a couple, they continue to successfully separate their working life in the public eye and their private life together. Even their marriage in 2008 came with no official confirmation. A low-key affair with friends and family may not have been what fans wanted, but it was exactly what Jay-Z and Beyoncé needed.
Sleep. Only my eyes. And my arm.
In 2003, after the success of The Blueprint 2, Jay-Z announced that his upcoming album, The Black Album, would be his very last, as he was planning to retire. And he did it in style too. With tracks like Encore and Lucifer, Jay-Z was ending his career on the ultimate high. His collaboration with renowned producer and label head of Def Jam Records, Rick Rubin, on the hit 99 Problems, proved to be one of Jay-Z's most popular songs ever.
Give me After Legit, After Legit. Aren't you sure it's attack? You some type of lawyer or something, somebody important or something? Aren't you sure it's attack? You some type of lawyer or something? Lawyer or something?
Having given everything to music, Jay-Z took a back seat. His goal was to focus on other ventures, including nurturing more artists under his record label and start giving back to the community. For most of his career, Jay-Z has proved to be more than just a music producer. Beginning during his first retirement, Jay-Z started to put his hand to a number of important causes and business ventures. Most influentially, in 2003, he and his mother Gloria founded the Sean Carter Foundation to help individuals facing socioeconomic hardships further their education, making higher education possible for millions.
I was I'm a lucky person. You know, I had a talent to do something that I really loved, and it took me to places I thought I'd never see. You know, I mean, my situation could have turned out differently, much differently, you know. So there'll be my story is a bit of an anomaly, you know, so just making sure that people are prepared for the future and prepared for this world, and especially people that have drive and want to go further. And if, excuse me, and if the thing that's holding them back is something financial, then, you know, I think that, you know, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. So just providing opportunity for people that, you know, want to further their education and, you know, be successful is important to me.
His retirement from music became a renaissance and laid the foundations of Jay-Z's legacy as someone who was going to impact several lives across the world. After 3 years of working behind the scenes and diversifying into a number of different careers, the magnetic pull of the music industry was too much, and by 2006, Jay was ready to be back, producing and releasing his music again. Within a few years, Jay-Z had released 2 albums, been on multiple tours, continued charitable work with institutions like the UN, and set up an educational trust for the children of Sean Bell, a black man who had been shot and killed on his wedding day by the police. It was obvious that this new era for Jay-Z valued music just as highly as helping others who were less fortunate than him. Jay-Z's return to music was huge, and his 2008 appearance at Glastonbury is one of the most iconic performances of all time. He was the first major hip-hop artist to headline the Pyramid stage And this fact has notoriously riled the likes of Noel Gallagher of Oasis, who implied it was something that would never have happened in his heyday. Jay-Z responded in the only way he could and used the performance and music to make his point heard. Headlining Glastonbury was a turning point for the world of hip-hop and emphasized how far it had come since the 1990s and entering the mainstream. With artists like Kendrick Lamar, Stormzy, and Kanye West following in his footsteps, it's clear that Jay-Z changed the game forever. 1 year after headlining Glastonbury, Jay-Z released The Blueprint 3. With the release came Jay-Z's biggest hit to date, Empire State of Mind, featuring Alicia Keys. The song acts as a homage to New York, referencing specific places and people from Carter's youth. It's a song that reveals everything Jay is about and what his music has always represented. He writes candidly about it in his autobiography. When I first heard the track for Empire, I was sure it would be a hit. It was gorgeous. My instinct was to dirty it up, to tell the stories of the city's gritty side, to use stories about hustling and getting hustled to add tension to the soaring beauty of the chorus. Following his successful return to the music scene, it was only a matter of time before Jay-Z collaborated with Kanye West again, who himself had been enjoying his career and was now releasing his own albums. In 2011, they released a joint album, Watch the Throne. The project features guest appearances from The Dream, Frank Ocean, and Beyonce, as well as posthumous vocals from Curtis Mayfield and, in this clip, Otis Redding.
They ain't see me cause I pulled up in my other Benz. Last week I was in my other Benz. Throw your diamonds up, cause we in this bitch another again.
Photo shoot fresh, looking like wealth. I'm about to call a paparazzi on myself. Live from the Mercer, run up on Yeezy the wrong way, I might murk it. Flee in the G450, I might surf it. Political refugee asylum can be purchased. Everything's for sale, got 5 passports.
From headlining Glastonbury to achieving his first #1 record, Jay-Z made a return to the music industry, unlike anyone before him. He was just as, if not even more important to the scene than ever before, and it looked like nothing was going to stop him from becoming even greater. For many, the life of Jay-Z and Beyonce seemed to be perfect. And even amongst their peers in Hollywood, they're the source of envy for the ability to keep matters of their private life private, especially in a world where celebrity lives are constantly put under the microscope. By 2006, they were voted the most powerful couple in the world by Time magazine. In 2009, they were ranked as Hollywood's top-earning couple, and throughout the 21st century, they continued to top the charts with both their individual and collaborative endeavors. By 2012, they had started a family of their own too, with the birth of their first daughter, Blue Ivy. But behind the scenes, tensions were brewing between the world's most powerful couple, tension that was thrust into the public domain following the release of leaked CCTV from an elevator at the Met Gala. What happens at the annual gala, which is widely regarded as the world's most prestigious and glamorous fashion event, is shrouded in as much mystery as the early relationship between Jay-Z and Beyonce. However, the world finally got a glimpse behind the scenes of the most famous secret party of the world's rich and famous. but it wasn't the glimpse into the glamorous lifestyle that anyone expected. Following rumors of Jay-Z's infidelity, Beyoncé's sister, Solange Knowles, attacked the hip-hop mogul in a lift. The pristine image of the relationship between the world's most famous couple had been shattered, as videos and photos of the incident spread online. But the two went on to address the issue in the only way they knew how, through their music. Following the incident, Jay-Z and Beyoncé went back into the studio at the same time, recording and producing their own albums, both individually and collaboratively. For the couple, the process was like a therapy session for them, and you could hear it in the music. Beyoncé's 2016 album, Lemonade, was lauded by critics as not only her best, but the singer's most personal work to date. The record addresses her emotional journey after her husband, Jay-Z's, infidelity in a generational and racial context. The fifth track, Daddy's Lessons, is a turning point for the album, with Beyoncé linking Jay-Z cheating on her with the experience of her father, Matthew Knowles' adultery. Tellingly, in an interview with Elle magazine, Beyoncé said, "I hope I can create art that helps people heal. Art that makes people feel proud of their struggle. Everyone experiences pain, but sometimes you need to be uncomfortable to transform." Beyoncé explained the concept of the Lemonade album to Melinda Matsoukas, the director of the Formation music video. She wanted to show the historical impact of slavery on black love and what it has done to the black family and black men and women. How we're almost socialized not to be together.
This is history. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
In 2017, Jay-Z released 444, which was his response to the rumors in Lemonade. The album was Jay's most personal yet and, much like his wife's album, garnered universal acclaim from music critics. Hear how personal he becomes on the titular track.
I seen the innocence leave your eyes, I still mourn this death. I apologize for all the stillborns, cause I wasn't present, your body wouldn't accept it. I apologize to all the women whom I toyed with your emotion, cause I was emotionless. And I apologize, cause at your best, you were love. And because I fall short of what I say I'm all about, your eyes leave with the soul that your body once housed. And you stare blankly into space, thinking of all the time you wasted it on all this basic shit.
Just as he had used music during the 1990s to talk about his troubled upbringing, Jay-Z used 444 to get candid about his current life. The album covers a wide array of topics: his family life, relationships, ongoing hip-hop culture, stereotypes, and racism. He directly references lines from Lemonade on the album. On Beyoncé's song Sorry, she sings, "You better call Becky with the good hair." Jay responds on the track Family Feud by rapping, "Leave me alone, Becky." The story of OJ references racism, stereotypes, and the experience of being a black person in America. Smile discusses his mother being a lesbian, featuring a poem from her. Pitchfork reviewer Sheldon Pierce concluded that the most crafty and evasive MC lays bare his complicated life. This late career gem is personal and diamond sharp, confronting the failings and legacy of Sean Carter and America. He also called the album an historical artifact. For the world's most powerful couple, producing dual albums in response to their troubled love life would prove to be incredibly important. And by the end of 2017, their life was back on track as they welcomed twins, a daughter named Rumi and a son named Sir. Any memory of the Met Gala incident was quickly washed away in 2022, and their status as the king and queen of music was secured, as Beyoncé tied Jay-Z for the most Grammy nominations of all time. With 88 nominations each, the couple took their rightful place on the music throne. From humble beginnings, Jay-Z was spurred on to become something more and to fight the status quo associated with growing up in the projects. He was determined to give himself and the people around him the best life that he could. Through genuine talent, self-determination, and an ability to connect with people through music and lyrics, Jay-Z became a global superstar, taking hip-hop to an audience far wider than anyone could have imagined. And when his reach was global, and he put his mind to using his platform for good to promote causes he cared about, the boy who grew up in the Brooklyn Project cemented his legacy as more than a musician, but as a powerful voice for change.